Yeah, you can see my screen, correct?
Yes, Mister.
Yeah. Really, as I said last time, the example I gave you by the, or around about the idea of the parable, which is, as I said, it's something really which is very symbolical, very meaningful, not just immediately, but the full meaning is beyond the lines. Really, the full meaning and the more powerful meaning is what is beyond it. And as I said, because it was something from the Bible and something really very directly religious and something to do with the Bible, I moved on because I decided to give you something else, which is literature. And here by Jibran, Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese, American Lebanese, who are later American really, but originally he was one of the real founders of what we call, if you like the expats or expatriates poetry, or in Arabic we call them shu'ara al-mahjar. And really they are mostly about five, the most prominent ones, about 4 or 5 people. Originally they are from Syria, really all of them from Syria. Like Ili Abi Madi and Nasib Arida and Jibran, Khalil Gibran, and some other people. Really, they were sort of amazing, sort of early 19th century, late 19th century, early 20th century people who traveled, who left Syria. It was at that time just Syria. There was no Lebanon. Lebanon was just, the area is called the mountain or Mount Lebanon. And Gibran really later on became really such a famous writer, and in English as well, especially really his great book called The Prophet. Really, it's a great, very good book called The Prophet. And really, it was such an influential text on Arabic literature in general. Gibran's short stories or tiny poem, short stories, or sometimes you think of them as poems. Really, they are stories and yet poems, and yet that's why we say, well, they are really parables. They are parables, not exactly poems, not exactly short stories, but really mixture of the three, mixture, really, absolutely mixture of the three, between, like, when you look at it, it looks like being a poem, but it's not a poem. There's no rhyme, there's no meter, there's nothing, and yet it's very short and very touchy and very effective and so on. So here I give you 4 examples. Like the first one on marriage, as you can see, but I'm not going to read this here in class. You can do it yourselves. But here, the next one, I'm going to read this one and the next 2 quickly, because they are really lovely and very meaningful. And when my sorrow was born, look at the title. And when my sorrow was born, I held it in my arms and stood in the housetop shouting, "Come ye, my neighbors, come and see, for joy this day is born unto me. Come and behold this gladsome thing that laughs in the sun." Notice here, Gibran also is using really biblical language when he said thee. Come unto thee, and you say ye my neighbors. Again, really like the way in Arabic we say ya ahl al-dira, ya ahl al-rab', ta'alu shufu akhukum. Right? Really, that's what he's saying here. Come ye, all of you people, come and see me, my neighbors. Come and see, for joy this day is born unto me. Come and behold this gladsome thing that laughs in the sun. He's looking, as if he's very happy, and he wants to share his happiness with his neighbors. But none of my neighbors came to look upon my joy, and great was my astonishment. And every day for 7 moons, I proclaimed my joy from the housetop. And yet no one heeded me, and my joy and I were alone, unsought and visited. Then my joy grew pale and weary, because no other heart but mine beheld its loveliness, and no other lips kissed its lips. Then my joy died of isolation. And now I only remember my dead joy in remembering my dead sorrow. But memory is an autumn leaf that murmurs a while in the wind and then is heard no more. Yeah, what do you think?
I guess he was killed by his father because he was so obsessed with getting the attention. He didn't take care of his son. He was thinking about what people are thinking or why they didn't came to visit and see the boy.
Oh, I see. Yeah. This is interesting. Yes, this is interesting interpretation. Have you read this somewhere, or this is your own interpretation?
No, it's my own.
Really, that's lovely. Yeah. Do you think so? Do you agree with this, boys and girls? That he's talking about his son?
I do actually.
Yeah? Yeah. Now, the word joy, as you can see in capital J, really, I think it can be more symbolical. Because, why is he saying I was asking my neighbors to come and join me? Notice every day for 7 moons. Every day for 7 months, I was saying to my neighbors to come and see me and join me in my pleasure, and my joy and I were alone, unsought, unvisited. I don't know. I mean, do you think it's only it's physically his child could be?
I guess it is both.
Yeah. When he said, my joy grew pale, what pale? My joy grew pale and weary, got tired and really is dying, because no other heart but mine held his loveliness, and no other lips kissed its lips. Really, I think I read it in a very different way from Suha's reading. Really, he means when you are happy and people don't share with you this happiness, and you want people really to share with you this happiness, and you really ask them to come and be happy with you, but nobody really cares about your happiness. Nobody really cares about you. And he's symbolizing this when he's saying joy, and for all these days, calling people to say, come on, come and share with me this happiness that I have, for example, or I'm having, and so on. But it seems that here that joy wants more people, and wants more company, and wants more friendship, and wants more love, and wants more communication, and wants more society. But it seems he said, I was alone, nobody came to me. I was very lonely with the happiness that I have, but this happiness when I am on my own, really it means nothing. You have to share happiness with others. You can't be happy on your own. To be happy, you need people with you to show your happiness, to share your happiness, to show how much you love what you have, and so on. But here he's saying nobody came. So that's what he said, nobody kissed my joy, as if to say, exactly here you think that this is his child, or a child to a father, and someone. Really, it might be. I'm not saying, I am not denying that this is a nice interpretation, but actually it did not cross my mind before, and I like the way you said it. But I thought, and I think this is something really more than physical. It's something more than physical.
Doctor,
It's nothing to do. Yeah?
can I interrupt you?
Of course, please.
I think when we go back to day he born, it was like a beautiful moment, a wonderful occasion. But then after that, the 7 months that followed, he was a disappointment.
Disappointed by whom? Why disappointed? Disappointed by what? Please, can you explain?
Because no one shared with him, because he felt lonely. The joy began to die.
Yeah. But if you have a baby, why should your baby die if nobody came and saw it or something, or I don't know. Why the baby should die?
Because doctor, babies need community. They need the society to learn stuff, to grow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think he is picturing the joy as if it is a baby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm having a question. Why he called people to come? Why didn't he go to them?
Yeah, but you see, he said, I stood at my housetop shouting, as if to say he's living in a small village and he stood on the top of his house. You can't go and knock at your door and say, please come to me.
Yeah, but why is he blaming the others while he has an option to go and share the joy with them?
Yeah, maybe, but I'm saying he stood at the top of his house and shouted for he said, calling his neighbors, and even he said, for 7 months I was shouting, standing at the top of your house, and you are calling your neighbors, hey, come to me, hey, Abu Ali, Abu Ahmed, Abu Uthman, Abu Khalil, oh, huh? And nobody came. You see, he said 7 every day for 7 moons. يعني 7 ليال أو 7 أيام بلياليها, and nobody came. I think that was invitation enough, and nobody came. Yeah, okay. I think he when you shout for 7 days and nobody answers, I think that's enough. If I would myself, to be honest, I wouldn't go, because if I shouted for 7 days to my next door neighbor and he does not respond, I'm not going to go and knock at his door and say, hey, come to me and be happy with me. You know, I'm saying really the idea, I don't know. Anybody has a different interpretation? Anybody? Yeah? Boys, girls, any other interpretation than being a real boy?
He is not a real boy.
Yeah?
It's a symbolize.
Uh-huh. So why the neighbors did not come?
I
Why?
mean, he felt depressed, and it's something born on the speaker's heart, not something, not a real baby.
Yeah, I know, but why people
I mean,
did not...
the love that was born in speaker's heart stays alone because nobody comes to see the beauty of that heart. No
Good.
one decide to speak to the speaker and see what's going on inside his heart.
Very
Then
good,
they start
Sumaya.
to be depressing.
Yeah, very good, Sumaya. But why the neighbors do not come?
Maybe because they envy him of his happiness.
Sorry? Razan?
I said that maybe they envy him of his happiness.
Your voice was interrupting. Again, say it again.
I think they are envy because
Very good, ya Razan. Yes, that's it. Razan, do you think if it was a sad thing, do you think the neighbors would come?
I think yes, because people stood by our side in the
Yeah.
but in the happy moment they didn't share us.
Yeah. That's the sad thing. يا عمي ما يشاركني في سعادتي ما بدي اياه في حزني. ما يجي عندي في السعادة ما بدي اياه في الحزن. You understand? When I'm happy, if people don't share my happiness, I don't need them in my sorrow. I think, as Razan said, thank you, Razan, very good. Yeah, because people are envious, are terrible. People are, in a way, in this way, he wants to say, come on, society, what's wrong with you? When I'm happy, nobody comes. But when I'm sad, everybody comes, for example, and they started looking at me and laughing at me, maybe. maybe, you know,
No, because
enjoying
they are
my...
curious. They want to know. It's not because they will stand by me or something. Just they want to know what's happening to you, what's going on in your life.
So it's not curiosity or gossip or whatever, envy, as she said. You see, this is really the idea. Gibran wants to say that society sometimes is very harsh and very really yeah, Marwa said maybe he used to stay alone with his sorrow. Really, Gibran wants to say that sometimes people are really very amazing, that they feel envious and they don't want to make you feel happy with what you have. But when you are in misery, they will come and look at you as if they are really mocking you and laughing at you and ridiculing you and enjoying your torture and being like in a sadistic way and so on. As if to say society is really terrible to treat other people or to treat, you know, if you like, its members in such harsh way. When you are happy and enjoying things, nobody comes to you and make you feel good. But when you are miserable, people come to you and sneer. Notice, sneer, and really mock and really ridicule and really laugh. And they say we come to share and condole, if you like you know, when we say يعني muwasat and etc. And this thing, really he wants to say that society is such hypocrite society. Hypocrite society.
Doctor, even the person himself, he was happy, but then he changed his happiness or his joy with the sorrow. I mean, he himself have something wrong with him, because he's supposed to be to remember these things with the good memories.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, this man could be having problems himself, maybe, yes. Again, when he said, but memory is an autumn leaf. Notice we said autumn leaf. Autumn leaf that murmurs a while in the wind and then is heard no more. Meaning, you know, people do a lot of things against you, but you should forget that. And you should start, I say, okay. You know, that's what he said, autumn leaf means a dead leaf, means, you know, this sad memory, this bad memory will not live with me all the time. It will go away after a while and I will forget how my neighbors treated me. I will say, okay, never mind. You were so maybe bad with me, but I will be all right. I will remember it for a while, but then I will forget about it because I am a human. And that's what we say, you know, people should forget. People should forget. And because that's what he said, now I only remember my dead joy in remembering my dead sorrow. You know, just sometimes remember. I said, but how much, you know, are you going to remember? For how long are you going? For how many days and years? You know, it's not really much. And you can't really go on all the time remembering the bad things that happened to you. You should forgive and so on. Anyway, this is really a lovely, I like this piece, but anyway, look at the next one. In the town where I was born lived a woman and her daughter who walked in their sleep. One night, while silence enfolded the world, the woman and her daughter walking, yet asleep, met in their midst veiled garden. And the mother spoke and she said, at last, my enemy, you by whom my youth was destroyed, who have built up your life upon the ruins of mine, would I could kill you. And the daughter spoke and she said, oh, hateful woman, selfish and old, who stand between my freer self and me, who would have my life an echo of your own faded life? Would you were dead? At that moment, a cock crew and both women awoke. The mother said gently, is that you, darling? And the daughter answered quietly, yes, dear. Yeah?
Yes,
What do you think?
I've heard this before.
Really?
Yes, and I don't know, I read that the sleepwalkers, there is the concept of blame when you choose that concept.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
during the war. It's during the war. It was during the war.
Yeah. Yeah, any other comments?
Can I try?
Yeah, please.
I think that the writer want to tell us that sometimes people show good things for us, but in their side they think the opposite. They maybe do good things, they maybe help us, they maybe give us what we want, but in their heart they not. They maybe we don't want to say that they hate us, but maybe they have something not good. Maybe they don't want to do that, but they did.
Very good, Hanin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any other ideas? Boys, any ideas, boys?
Doctor, I think this is always the situation between daughters and mothers in anti-feminist society. And here I mean,
Yeah?
here I mean that mothers usually are asked to spend all their energy to raise their kids, and they even forget themselves forget themselves uh, to grow up these kids. But then when they grow up, they suddenly the mothers suddenly notice that they didn't had a life. I mean, all their life was on their kids, and they didn't have a moment for themselves. And this is why they show. I mean, sometimes some mothers show rude behaviors to their daughters, but this is not because they hate them, but because they hate the society that force them to do parents this way.
Thank you, yeah, Suha. Razan or Sumaya wants to say?
Yes, but when we use the word sleepwalking casually, it means the sleepwalking, the real sleepwalking. But here, it means the lack of energy because the mother had enough. the energy of the mother, she doesn't have energy anymore, so she did that with the daughter.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, any other comments? Yeah, I mean, look at them, each one of them. I mean, I think this is really Jibran here, really, he's amazing. How would you say, would I could kill you? Again, the other one said, would you were dead? Would I, what's here, would I could kill you? Huh? What does it mean? And why is she saying, at last, my enemy, you by whom my youth was destroyed. You know, she said, my enemy. My enemy. Again, the other one, she said, hateful woman. Again, who stand between me and myself, and so on. Again, notice here, would I. How do you translate this here, Suha? Would I could kill you to Arabic?
لو أمكنني.
يا ريت لو فيني أقتلك. يا ريت. علواه. Isn't it? That's what it means, really. Would I means, I wish I could do this. Isn't it? I wish, I really want to. Yeah, I mean, what you say here again, but notice the opposite language at the end. When she said, is that you, darling? And the other one said, yes, dear. You know, look exactly. Here, really, there's something, again, I want you to bear in mind about the conscious and the subconscious. The subconscious and the conscious, really. What is hidden inside you, which you can't say, and what is really deep down, something that you can never express, something that you really hide. Okay? So really, this is a very lovely, really piece, and very strong piece. Here, you can explain it in so many ways. As you said, all of what you said really is possible and is correct. But I think it is very powerful. How much people can be double-faced or treble-faced or quadruple-faced? How many faces can we have? How many faces can we have? You know, ugly faces and killing faces, or gentle faces, or my dear face, or my darling. And in the minute you go, you want to stab me with a knife. But when I turn my face, you say, oh, welcome. You know, and I think this is absolutely strong and lovely. Of course, remember here, between a daughter and her mother, although we know that this love relationship, always daughters trust their mothers, and they really, the strongest connection should be between mothers and daughters, like fathers and sons, really. So it's really an amazing thing here. And the last one is a bit, again, I will leave it for you to read, but really it's a nice one. Please, please, I don't know, I will read it for you quickly in case you have not read it, but really it's a very good one. My friend, I am not what I seeming is but a garment I wear, a care-woven garment that protects me from thy questionings and thee from my negligence. The I in me, my friend, dwells in the house of silence, and therein it shall remain forever, more unperceived, unapproachable. I would not have thee believe in what I say, nor trust in what I do. For my words are not but thy own thoughts in sound, and my deeds thy own hopes in action. When thou sayest, the wind blows eastward, I say, hey, it does blow eastward. For I would not have thee know that my mind does not dwell upon the wind, but upon the sea. Then canst not understand my seafaring thoughts, nor would I have thee understand. I would be at sea alone. When it is day with thee, my friend, it is night with me. Yet even then I speak of the moon tide that dances upon the hills, and the purple shadow that steals its way across the valley. For then canst not hear the songs of my darkness, nor see my wings beating against the stars. And I fain would not have thee hear or see. I would be with night alone. When thou ascendest to thy heaven, I ascend to my hell. Even then thou callest to me across the unbridgeable gulf, my companion, my comrade. And I call back to thee, my comrade, my companion, for I would not have thee see my hell. The flame would burn the eyesight, and the smoke would crowd thy nostrils. And I love my hell too well to have thee visited. I would be in hell alone. Thou lovest truth and beauty and righteousness, and I for thy sake say it is well and seemingly to love these things. But in my heart, I laughed. Notice here, I laughed at thy love, yet I would not have thee see my laughter. I would laugh alone. My friend, thou art good and cautious and wise. Nay, thou art perfect. And I too speak with thee wisely and cautiously. And yet I am mad, but I mask my madness. I would be mad, my friend. I would be mad alone. My friend, thou art not my friend. But how shall I make thee understand? My path is not thy path, yet together we walk hand in hand. La ilaha illallah. Suha,
Yeah, Doctor.
do you have friends like this?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you say to somebody who says you are their friend, and you look at her face, and you say inside you say, really, she is not my friend. Huh? But still you go with her and you drink tea or coffee or sit for hours with her. But really deep down you say, what an ugly woman you are.
Well, I usually don't act this way. If I don't
I
act
know. No.
I told
No,
him
no.
immediately.
Suha, please don't misunderstand me. I don't mean you personally, but I'm saying, look at this. He said, you are not my friend. My path is not thy path. يا عمي طريقي مش على طريقك. يا عمي حل عن ظهري. Huh? Yet together we walk hand in hand. Allahu Akbar.
Then I don't know.
Huh?
Then I don't know. They
You
are
see?
hiding something about me. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, really, Jibran, as you can see, he's. I think he's an amazing man. Really, the way he writes and the way he thinks and so on. Okay, I think that's enough about Jibran. I go back to my fables to our friend Aesop, and I think I will leave this for you to give me your own interpretations. I'm not going to spend time doing it again. The funny stories here. Have you read these stories? The ass and the grasshoppers. Have you read that?
Yes.
What do you think? I mean, look at the message here. It says the laws of nature are unchangeable.
I think they are funny, and they are good for children, and even
Oh, yeah.
even for us.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are good for everybody, really. Yeah. Sometimes here, when you want to say, you know, the laws of nature are unchangeable. The laws of nature are unchangeable. Sometimes you try to change something, but if it's not in you, you can never do it. Here, for example, a donkey will never be able to be like a grasshopper. A donkey will always be a donkey. An ass is an ass. It can't, because here the grasshoppers were mocking the ass, because here the grasshoppers are, the idea that they want to fool the donkey, and the donkey was fooled because he's a donkey, and here the donkey thought that he's going to be able to sing beautifully like the grasshoppers, because he's stupid. Because he is stupid, he thought he could sing like them. And he asked them, how come you have this lovely voice? How can't I, and it's funny, we say, La ilaha illallah, it's really funny. It's sometimes we say, it's the worst voices, we say, the voices of donkeys, أنكر الأصوات صوت الحمير, isn't it? Huh? Yeah, I mean, here really this tiny story to say, if you don't have something, don't try. If it's not in you, don't try. A donkey will always be a donkey, no matter what. And that's why, of course, here, this terrible thing, they laughed at him and he died as a result, of course, because he was waiting to get a good voice, to get a beautiful voice. It's funny anyway. But it has a big message here, really. The message is that, because we say here nature has its own laws, and these laws can't change, will not change. And I think this is true sometimes in our in our own sort of realistic way. Sometimes you can't challenge something which is very far-fetched, very unrealistic, something which is impossible. And you should admit and say, well, this is impossible to be done because it's against nature. It's not there. You know, the whole idea is wrong. It cannot be done. You know, so that's why here the foolish ass died, as you see. At the end, he said, naturally, the poor foolish ass soon died. Yeah. Again, the next one, the farmer and his sons. Again, really, it's very interesting. You have read that again. I think it's again very clear, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Any comments? Comments? Suham,
Yeah, Doctor.
if I say, yeah?
No, I want to say that it is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I was going to ask you, and I will ask all of you. And to be honest, be honest with me.
Okay.
I know you are all honest, but maybe for this one you will not be saying exactly what you feel. If I say to you this morning, you are now, I have 13 people in this class. Okay, I say, well, I'm going to really pass all of you with C's and C pluses and B's. So no matter what I'm going to give you B's, all of you, I will give you B's, no matter what. Okay? And my question is,
No,
will you, sorry?
it's not okay.
Wait a minute. If I say I want to give you all B's, will you get up in the morning and come to my lecture for the whole 15 weeks? If you know for sure, absolutely sure, that you will get a B or an A, will you come to my class?
Well, to me, yeah, sure, I will come to the class because I love literature and I enjoy the class.
But you already have the B. You want the B and you have the B.
Well, I want to learn.
Sumaya?
I want the A.
Oh.
I will come to the class.
If I give you the A from today, would you still come to the class?
Yeah, I will come to the class. I
Why?
feel guilty if I don't.
But you have your A. I already gave you the A. Why do you come?
Because I want to come.
Yeah? Boys, Ahmed.
Yes, mister.
What do you think? If I'll give you the A, will you come to my class and get up in the morning? Instead, you'll be sitting in your bed warm and cozy and comfortable.
Yeah, sure, I would come.
Are you really telling the truth, all of you?
Doctor, the taste of achieving is different when you do your best to have this and when you get it like ready for you. So you will not have the same taste.
Buthaina.
Yes.
Very good, yeah, Buthaina. Wow. Yeah. Lovely. You know, I'm asking you this question, and I know you are young people, and this is a course in literature one. I assume you are really young people, and really I'm happy that you are saying this, because sometimes if you are not promised something, or if you are not warned or threatened, you won't do your job. Because here the boys will not do the work unless, because their father knew that his children are lazy and they will not do the work in the fields. So he told them there is a treasure. So go and find the treasure. So to go back to Buthaina and Sumaya and everybody, and Suha and everybody, of course, because I'm only mentioning the names that I spoke to. Do you think these boys would have done what they have done if their father didn't tell them?
Maybe,
Do you think they, sorry?
maybe they will do it, maybe they won't, because we don't know their personality. He didn't tell us.
Yeah, but the story means, really here, it means that the father was worried that, especially notice here, a rich old father, Normally rich people have children who are, if you like, spoiled children. Somehow spoiled. You know spoiled?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So he knows his children will not really work hard unless he promises them something, really something tempting, something very promising and tempting. And that's why he knew his children. Deep down, he knew that his children will not do their job because they are already lazy, and they were brought up as being lazy, and everything is given to them. So if they don't do work, if they don't do hard work, then they will not survive. So by promising and telling them that there is a treasure, and remember, the father really was not telling them the truth. There was really no treasure. The father was telling them that there is a hidden gold there, but really there was nothing. He wanted to tell them, you must really be hard and work hard and be hard workers and achieve all what you have to achieve through work. Because that's the idea. At the end, we say industry is itself a treasure. Work itself is a treasure. Sometimes you say al-amal ibadah, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Why we say ibadah? It's like ibadat al-Rahman. Even work here really is something absolutely sacred and good and honorable and so on. And you should not wait for a reward. I know people do this for a reward at the end. That's why I'm telling you, if already I gave you the reward, which is the A's and B's, would you still do the work? You said yes, which is really excellent. I'm really happy to hear this. And this is really lovely to say that. So really the idea here is the value of work. And the father really here, as I say, he knew exactly his children. He knew them, that they wouldn't do the job properly unless they are tempted, unless they are promised of something concrete, something touchable. And he thought this is a good way. And I think this is really interesting and funny at the same time. But that's life. And I think the last one, I don't know. Yeah, the last one is, again, have you ever heard of this? Do you say this in Arabic?
Yeah, they say اللي ما يطول العنب يعني حامض عنه يقول. This is a song.
اللي ما يطول العنب يقول عنه حامض.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny, isn't it?
It is.
But why do we say حامض? يعني why don't we say the truth?
Because we can't get it. We said it's bad. It's not taste good anyways.
I know, but I'm saying, why do we say it's bad when it's not bad? Why can't we?
To convince ourselves.
Why can't be honest? We say, يعني زي اللي واحد يروح يخطب وحده وهي بنت حلوه ومحترمه وكذا وكذا، واهلها ما عطوا، قالوا له حل عنا يا عمي ما نعطيك بنتنا. اوكي؟ بيرجع الولد يقول ما حلوه، بشعه،
Because he wants to look good.
He wants to satisfy himself.
But is he honest?
No.
So why can't we be honest? Why can't we be honest about our things and admit, if I can't have this, I say, fine, I can't have it.
The truth. And if we lie of ourselves and we feel good.
It's human beings.
It's a self-consolation, I guess.
Yeah. Boys. Do you know what do you say about this in Syria?
Yes.
What? Anybody knows? We have a different saying what we said. What did you say, Hamid? Suha, what did you say?
Yeah, حامض.
Yeah, well, the whole saying, what was it?
اللي ما يطول العنب حامض عنه يقول.
ما يطول العنب حامض عنه يقول. Yes. Do you know what we say in Syria? Anybody? Have you heard of that in Bab al-Hara or any of those crazy serials maybe you are watching on TV sometimes?
No, we didn't.
Let me say it to you in Syrian Arabic. We say هذا حصر من, of course I'm saying it هذا حصر من رأيته في حلب. هذا حصر رأيته في حلب. Halab is a city in northern Syria. Husrum, you know Husrum? Huh?
No.
Oh, come on. When you say حامد نقول عنه نقول حامد عنه نقول صح؟ متى يكون حامد؟
يوم يكون ما ناضج.
لا ما ناضج، برافو عليك. الحبة كانت تكون صغيرة كده لسه baby grapes, correct?
Yes.
هذا البيبي grapes we call this حصرم in Arabic. حصرم check the word on Google. حصرم. ح صاد را ميم. حصرم, which is grapes before they are ripe, and it's very, very sour. Very sour. In Syria, when we don't have lemon, people use this as lemon juice, because it's really, really very, very tasty and very, very suitable for, you know, seasoning any salads or anything. So that's why we say هذا حصر من رأيته في حلب. يعني why Halaba? Because Halab is far away from Damascus, as if to say أنا شفت هذا هناك وما أخذت منه. ما عجبني. But of course it's not true. I think this is really funny how we say this, and I don't know why all Syrians say it, as if to say, you know, like what you say. We say also the same thing about عندما تطول العنب تقول عنه حامض. Yeah, ما تطول العنب تقول عنه حامض. تقول ما يتاكل. صحيح. So the idea really here is again quite funny. Again, because again it tells us about our own nature. It tells us why we are hypocrites. Why don't we tell the truth and say, yeah, well, we can't get it, we can't get it.
Because the truth hurts.
La ilaha illallah. Why should it hurt?
Because they can't face the truth.
طيب الحقيقة ليش الحقيقة مرة؟ يعني نحن بنقول بالعامية الحقيقة مرة، لك يا عمي ليش مرة؟
They'd rather stay don't knowing rather than knowing.
Yeah. You see, it says, it means we are funny people. We are really terrible people. We are, isn't it? We can't admit, we do not accept, we cannot be our own, you know, and so on. You know, the whole idea really is very funny about our own things. And here again, the question of pretense. يعني ليش التصنع وليش الكذب وليش النفاق؟ Why? لماذا النفاق؟ Allah. Notice, there are many who pretend to despise and belittle that which is beyond their reach. Yeah, there are many. هناك العديد من الناس الذين يحتقرون ويقزمون الأشياء التي لا يطالوها. أي شيء ما بتقدر تطالع عليه بتقول it's not good. ولك يا عمي كنت ميت حتى توصل عليه، هلا صار ما عاد يسوى. You understand?
Yeah. And people sometimes use destiny to, when they didn't try hard, they say this is destiny. You can't reach it.
Yeah. قدري كده. Is it? Yeah. So really, this is the idea again. Really, this what we call as fables, and I think they are really lovely here. And there are many of them, which, as you can see, the meaning behind them is so strong and so beautiful. And as you can see, you know, many of the stories really are the characters, I mean, many of them are animal characters, and they mean really a lot about us human beings in a very strong way. So really, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, this is what we mean by the parable and the fable. And I think they are really, it's a very nice kind of genre. It's a kind of lovely genre where writers sometimes use, as you can see, very short and very precise, but very meaningful, very strong in so many ways. And I think sometimes we always depend on these in our analysis and our interpretations of things in reality or in fiction or in writings or in even journalism, in any kind of life, really. We always sort of remember these things. And he's saying, yeah, because this is about us, about the real nature of the human beings. And I think that's the topic, if you like, the topic of literature as a whole. So that's it, really, boys and girls, about the parable and the fable, which is really the, for example, the short section here about what we say, the kind of literature or the kind of prose that we have. As I said, the first one, which is the parable and the fable, as you can see. So next week, I will start with this short story. Since you have studied The Necklace, I'm not going to do it again. I will start with Ernest Hemingway, Cat in the Rain. So please read the short story, Cat in the Rain, for next week. And if you have not, anybody, please, all of you, you can write in the chat if you have not studied The Necklace. Have you all studied The Necklace? Please write in the chat. If you say no, say just no, just to make sure that you have that you all. So Marwa and Sumaya have not. Yeah?
No, I have.
Oh, you have?
I wrote I have.
Oh, I see. Please write in the chat if you have or have not. Just say yes or no. Please let me see, because I want to know. Well, yeah, well, that's good, because it seems that you have all done. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat it, and it will not be included. It will not be included in our syllabus or in the exam anymore. So I will not include it in any way. But if you want to have if you still need to talk about it or discuss anything, I can, no problem. In addition, of course, to our main stories that we have. Anyway, so that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I will stop here.